Good afternoon and welcome back to Facility Operations. I'm Paul Yakovich, the Director of Facility Operations at Shell Point, and we're going to do another Facility Operations update. This time we're going to provide you with some in-depth information about our security here at Shell Point. Before I get into any details of what we do, I want to go backwards in history and let you know back when Shell Point was essentially just the island, our Shell Point security was comprised of Shell Point staff. Essentially, they were a bunch of retired gentlemen and did gate control, access control. They're the ones that would wave at you and smile as you came in through the gate. So Securitas started officially back in December of 2011. And we've gradually grown our force with security and Securitas as our neighborhoods have gotten larger. Okay, so you're all familiar with, as you come into the gate, now you have a barcode that automatically opens the gate. Access control goes well beyond that, because if somebody comes to the gate without notice, they're here to visit somebody in the pavilion or something like that, we require them to show a photo ID and scanned into the system. And simultaneously, it takes a picture of their license plate. So we have a picture of the car, picture of the license plate, picture of the driver's license before we issue a temporary dash gate pass. So again, that's just one example of the level of security that we have here at Shell Point. The other thing that our Securitas officers do is emergency response. You're all familiar with the nurse call. When the nurse call is activated in the call center, security is notified, and more times than not, our security guys get to the apartment before the nurse does. And in the case of a 911 call, I know our security and our medical staff get to the apartments before the EMS responders. Other aspects that they do in day-to-day, and unfortunate happens, is accident and incident investigation. You will notice that we have patrols out on various times, sometimes through and beyond 3 o'clock in the morning. You'll see our rovers out there. And one of the things that I like to point out is during their patrols, the security officers are checking specific points. They have Securitas brought into the system a system called Vision. And what it is, it's a series literally of dots that are posted all around the property at critical points where the security officers have to make their check, and they go out there and they actually check in electronically on that spot. So the security manager can see exactly the time and date that they were there making that physical check of the area. Well, that's a brief overview of where we've come from, essentially what we do. And now I want to provide a little bit more depth of what Securitas is and introduce their district manager. This is Mr. Matt Travis.
Good afternoon. Paul said I am Matt Travis. I'm the district manager for Securitas. On a monthly basis, Paul and I connect with each other to get a general update from you, the client, as to how we're serving you and any specific needs that we need to work on. Paul and I also engage on an annual basis around the contract and the contract renewal and how the terms of that go. On a more weekly basis, I engage with Angela, and that's sometimes weekly, sometimes daily, as an as-needed basis, touching base with the site here, exactly what's going on, to know the pulse of the site and what the needs are here from the team. Another thing that I do is engage around Securitas in general. And I want to tell you what Securitas does more than just Shell Point. I mentioned that we have 118,000 employees in North America, but our name isn't a highly known name. And that's because the company as a whole does not do a lot of marketing. We actually originated over in Europe, and it's a European-based company out of Sweden. And several decades ago, there was several buyouts of American security companies that made Securitas have a presence in America. One of them is a commonly known name of the Pinkertons. So the Pinkertons, that's been an old name throughout U.S. security, is now really Securitas. Part of that is what we do, we call elite protection or executive protection. And that's something that we don't do much here at Shell Point, but it's one-on-one personal security for executives traveling or for dignitaries traveling or for things like that. One of the other elements that I do for Securitas is that I am personally the first line in the recruiting effort. So Securitas here in Southwest Florida has in between 50 and 60 accounts, Shell Point being one of them, and being one of our most prestigious accounts, just with the history and the great community that Shell Point is. In my role in recruiting, I'm that first layer that I engage candidates coming in the door and have to make determinations as to what caliber a candidate is, whether they're going to be worthy to work at Shell Point or a different community. Some communities have significant demands of what's going to be expected of a potential candidate. Shell Point's one of those. We know that our employees, we want to have them CPR certified, we want to have them be people that are going to be a good personality, to be a first responder type, to be able to engage in those situations, an outgoing personality that's caring, that's hospitable, that treats their residents, their guests with courtesy and respect in every interaction. Some communities in a service role in security is more a gatekeeper. It's more a pressing a button, more a watching a fence, and that doesn't necessarily have the same personality needs that a site like Shell Point has. And some of that is my role to engage candidates as they walk in the door for a security position as where are they going to be a best fit. So what I hope that you see in the employees or the security officers that you engage here on site at Shell Point is I hope that you see that we take great care and great pride in who we select to be an on-site officer at Shell Point.
All right, thank you, Matt. Mission accomplished. What I wanted to accomplish here was to let you know that there's a fantastic partnership that exists between Shell Point and Securitas. And I want to leave you with a quote from our Securitas Security Manager, Angie. If you see something, say something, because you too can contribute to the security here at Shell Point.